We're getting close to race day now, so let's go ahead and let's just roll out the tension. So many times we go out there and we run and we don't stretch or do any work beforehand. And when the muscles are tight when we run, we just don't have as much mobility to give it our best and to really hit our PR that day. So I like to always do some ball work beforehand, and every time I do, I seem to run better than I've been running during my training. So grab your favorite size yoga tune-up therapy balls. They come in a tote, and I'm actually going to start off by keeping them in the tote. And we're just going to roll down onto our back. We're going to start by rolling out the spine. Then we'll come down here, kind of free up the SI joint, that joint that stops on every stride, that locks on every stride to prevent the femur bone from shooting right through the pelvis. So super important we get this free. And then right below that is where the piriformis kind of starts as it sweeps out to the outer hip. So get into the hip a little bit and continue down as much as you choose, just to free some tension so that we can go out there and run our best race come the turkey trot. And so when you arrive on your back, you just take the balls and kind of below the nape of the neck there, so you're not on the neck, but you're not between the shoulder blades either. You're above the shoulder blades. Balls will just start there. And I keep them in the toe so they kind of trace the spine all the way down. So the balls are on each side of the spine, running down the erector spinae muscles. And sometimes this allows me to as well go one vertebra at a time and kind of release tension, even give myself a free adjustment as we do this. So just bring my feet to the earth. Just going to raise the hips up, sending the knees away. And this allows me to put pressure more directly into the balls. And so just taking my hands behind the head so it's easy for me to kind of slide up. I just slide up one vertebra. And I just take a moment there. I relax the elbows wide. And I just breathe. And just taking your time, you could set the hips down to reposition if you need. Then you lift them back up. Slide one more vertebra, maybe a half a ball. And you pause and you breathe. And so, same thing. We just go up one more. And if you catch any place that's super tender, you can stay there longer than I am. You can just pause the video and come back. And once the balls arrive kind of right between the shoulder blades, I like to take a moment to just give myself a hug, take a deep breath in, and exhale it out, just kind of going straight down in. And sometimes the rhomboids that run under the shoulder blades get super, super tight. So take a moment here to release some tension there by reaching the hands straight up, lifting the hips, and then I'm just going to try to crush the balls between the shoulder blades by just retracting them back. And so keeping the arms straight, right? I'm not bending the elbows. I'm just retracting the shoulder blades. So just to show you how that looks from a seated position, right? And so the shoulder blades are just going back and trying to crush the balls right behind the shoulder blades, releasing some tension in the rhomboids. And then from there, I just relax again, and I roll another half a ball length up. Deep breath in, and a breath out, really using the exhales to release and surrender into the balls. And you can always keep the hips on the ground if any of this becomes too intense, right? We lift the hips up so that we have more pressure going into the balls. Okay, and then I'm just gonna roll up another half a ball length. And I should be close to the bra line for you women, so Just going to give myself a big hug here. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. I just try to push the balls. Crush the balls behind me, pressing them into the ground. Then I relax, hands behind the head again. And I just, with the hips, I roll slightly, a little bit more. And I reposition myself on the floor or wherever you are. You could be sliding into a chair or wall or something. So just reposition, place the balls back where you were. And again, you could give yourself a hug. And the reason I do that, it just stretches the outside of the back. Getting all the tissues out of the way as I try to release tension right along the spine. Then I roll up a little more. And I'm getting down to like the mid-low back area. And again, just a deep breath in. Breath out. So we roll up a little more. I'm just using my forearms, my elbows now to kind of guide me. Allowing my head to relax so the neck muscles aren't gripping. Same thing, just trying to release a little bit of tension. And then I get down to right towards the top of the lumbars. And then I roll one more time. And I'm right above the pelvis now. So that big pelvic bowl. And so I don't want to go down any further than that, so I remove the balls. I remove them from the pouch. And as we do this, I'm going to take the balls at the same time and just place them right where those dimples would be on the low back. And I try to relax the glutes all the way to the ground. So can you place the balls there and still get the glutes to touch? So you're going to have this slight tilt to the pelvis. But a lot of people have a natural forward tilt to the pelvis anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send the tailbone back and down so the glutes come off. And then I'm just going to relax it back down. So we're just rotating the pelvis here. Right at the SI joint, just trying to free some tension in and around that joint. I do that about 4 to 5 times. Then I take the balls and I roll them down a complete ball length. Okay. Now we're right there at the piriformis. Right. However, the piriformis is not a superficial muscle. It's a deep muscle. So even though we're at it, we're not feeling it. We're feeling more the glute median or the glute medius right there. And when I arrive there, I try to soften into the balls. Now, if you have the smaller size balls, you might have too much cushion. You might want to grab a bigger ball so that you actually get into those muscles. So you can grab I got the plus size balls there, or the alpha size ball here as well. So you can place those there and they will get deeper into there as you start to soften around the ball. And just a deep breath in and exhale it out. You can even just go from one side instead of using two if you choose. So just giving you guys some options. Right now we're into the soft tissue of the body, so there's not too much here that can go wrong. If you do feel anything nervy, we do not want to press on nerve. We don't want to stretch nerve. So just back off and kind of go around those areas. You know, the sciatic nerve runs right under the piriformis muscle, so it's a possibility that you do impinge something. As I do this, I'm just rolling down a little at a time, tracing that piriformis or going with it. as it starts to sweep even to the outer hip. And as we continue to roll in these balls, the idea here is to actually chase the pain. So if you feel something that you don't like, as long as it's not nerve, then we go towards it. And once we do, it should sort of spiderweb away and allow us to go deeper, allow us to soften a little bit more. And I may make my way down even to the hamstring attachments that attach the top of the hamstring to the glutes. If that's an area that I feel I need to. Now, when it comes to the hamstring attachments, I like to just move my leg kind of in and out, or sway the glutes from left to right so that I can go on the inside of those attachments and on the outside. But the balls aren't meant to roll on as they are meant to go through a muscle. So it allows you, the roundness allows you to find those trigger points and go deep inside. You could always grab a block, a book or something, place the ball on there if you want a little more height. Sometimes that allows you to get into these muscles a little bit deeper. And even when we're rolling, once we're down to the hamstring attachments, you can even get into even part of the psoas, the back of the psoas, that muscle that connects the inner thigh with the front of the spine. And so that's that sexy walk muscle. So that's a big one that creates a lot of problems, pulls the spine forward, tilts the pelvis. And that's probably good to use that for a completely other day to release some tension there. But now I'm just going to begin to even roll onto the side of the hip, side of the glute muscle. And as I get into even this IT band side and stuff, I almost want to try to peel some of these muscles off of the bone so we go deep and we lift them away. And again, I can work down the leg towards the knee, or I can work more up depending on where you are tight. And it's okay to put them back in the pouch now, because sometimes two balls, one is a nice way to sort of get in and peel some of these muscles off, especially if you get into like the TFL muscle here that's at the front of the hip that forks back to the glute max in the back. So but for me, it's more the top side of the glute where I feel the most tenderness, that I just want to pause and breathe into, and even allow the leg to soften, allow the body to soften, right? Softening towards the ground. And sometimes you could feel some clicking and some stuff. It's just so much tension that we hold there, especially getting out there and running as frequently as some of us do. These are, the side of the hip is always, those are the stabilizing muscles that keep us from flopping from side to side. Back in the 70s, polio was a big problem here in our country, big thing, and so I just hit a spot, and I need to stay there, and sometimes just making a running motion with your leg, something that you would do out there on the track, allows the body to work in its natural way, so that muscle, it frees the tensions that you would use when you're out there on the track. And so polio was that people had no control, right? They were moving side to side, right? They couldn't stay straight. So important these hips to for those stabilizing muscles to help us keep us straight and stuff. However, we do want some movement with these muscles. We don't want them locked. You may even get into the TFL here, and again, starting from the back and try to peel it right off of the bone. This is something here that I definitely want to return to before and after the turkey trot, because this is giving me a lot of feedback, and sometimes you don't feel that feedback until you actually get in there. But once I release that, how much more mobile will I be? How much better will my stride be? How much easier will I recover after a race? Don't spend more than 5 minutes on the hip itself and move on to the next one. Getting into the next side, again, we just start right below that SI joint where that dimple is, in the low back. Slide the leg out to try to soften into the glute medius, down to the piriformis. And you can come up on your elbows, but trying to soften all the way down to the glute. Now you'll notice if you do come up on your hands that you're stretching the superficial back muscles, which do attach to the glute. So it may activate them more than you want, because you want these to soften. So maybe come down a bit. You just start to explore into that glute, down to the piriformis, even making your way all the way to the hamstring attachments. And when you arrive there again, we just kind of move a little from left to right, allowing the ball to move to the inside and the outside. Releasing some tension, because just creating a little bit of space is going to help us stay safe, injury-free through the race. If you do find a spot that's tender, we just stay there and we breathe into it, soften down. Now we just begin to move into that left side or that right side IT band, hip, TFL. We try to get into the side and just kind of peel it off the bone or peel it away from the body. As you continue to explore here, again, you can make some running motions with the foot. We can, if this is what's bothering us, we can make the running motions here. But also relax that leg back, place the other foot in front, relax down, and if this is screaming, just stay here, just pause, or we begin to make some little movements that we need there for that side to release in that hip. And even get into the front of the hip if you choose. And continue to explore there as much as you need. We'll see you all next time.